She was only saying that when in your speech, in your presentation, you used the word hearing impairment. That is a medical perspective. You say deaf, because when you say hearing, it is like you want to be fixed. It can be solved. It's something that can be cured. So it is just like a blind person. The same way they are totally blind, then even for the deaf, you just use it deaf. That's why she gave the example of a blind person.
Okay, I want to clarify something, and please listen to this. What has been happening, we've had this debate a lot of times because we've come across some blind people who prefer to be called visually impaired. There are people who use that. Part of what we've been saying in disability is that language does evolve. You hearing nowadays neurodiversity. I can tell you for sure, about 5 years ago, neurodiversity was not a word that was appearing a lot. So part of the discussion that has been happening from a human rights law perspective is it is expected that language will definitely evolve. Number two, it is expected that at some point, I know even there's a certain legislator who wanted to move a motion, I'll not say her name, who wanted to move a motion to even change the language in the act to use, there's a word people usually use, abled differently. There's even someone who's using such. So we expect maybe language sometimes can evolve, but there are some particular constituencies, especially the deaf, who are very clear how they want to be referred to. But for the blind, I know for sure, there are those who prefer to be called visually impaired. If you listen to Senator Christo Asige, for instance, say, I'm a visually impaired legislator, she doesn't say I am blind. So sometimes, based on circumstances and how preferences, maybe we can use what a broader number of people are comfortable with. But for the deaf, I'm sure you.
Mine is a more of a comment. It's not a question. I just want to add to what my colleague said. You've mentioned the issue about the using the word impairment is more of medical. So it shows like we need to be fixed. So I'm wondering that, most people usually insist calling the deaf community hearing impaired. So if I am a deaf person, so I can come and say, I am Georgine, I am HI. No, I normally come and say, I am Georgine and I am deaf. So for us in Kenya, deaf is really bringing dignity. It also brings community perspective, and it's also our culture. So moving forward, for the deaf people, hearing impaired, let's not use it. We use the
Excellent.
deaf. And
Agree.
for Abdi, the next time we come, we cannot be fixed. So it's like the way you're doing.
True.
Yeah. So next time, let us just use the word deaf.
All right, that is true. Okay.
I just wanted to just add on to what has been said, but also seek clarity. Yeah. In terms of when a person is blind, of course, the terminology blind is used, right? But a lot of people who are, low vision people, they prefer to be called visually impaired. So we need to know whether that's right. And also, people who are hard of hearing, that means they use different gadgets, hearing aids, and so forth. They also call themselves hearing impaired because they are not deaf, right? So I think we need to have clarity on those terminologies so that we don't call someone who is who can hear like 10% deaf, because they're not deaf, really. Yeah? So I think a lot of clarity needs to.
Zioka, you want to say something?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Muko salama. I think I've been here. I've been seated. I sneaked in and kept quiet, Dr. so that I can listen and hear people's voices. Let me say, all this language we are talking about, these are language gymnastics. And it only takes a group to agree what do you think is comfortable. Again, number two, it also takes international considerations of the language to be used. For example, we have been using the word PWDs. Today, you are refusing to be called PWDs. You are saying persons with disabilities in full. Because, you see, so this evolving and this evolution of language depends on region, depends on circumstances. So, as a human rights person, my advice to you is when you are doing the commitments in the afternoon, if there's that sometimes I think there's a time we had a list of words that Kenyans did not like. Kipovu, the key V, Kipofu, Kiwete, and ETC, you did not want that. So you choose what you want accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good perspectives. So language does evolve, but we can agree as a community how we prefer. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Washira. First of all, I just wanted to thank you for the presentation. It's been very insightful. I was just curious, and I'd wish that we also look at the role of nonverbal communication in fostering inclusive communication. Because most of the times, if a person who is a person with hearing impairment approaches someone they'd wanted to speak to, and they go there with their interpreter, the speaker tends to look at the interpreter instead of looking at the person with the hearing impairment. So I'd wish we also look at how nonverbal communication affects inclusive communication. Thank you.
Actually, there is a bigger problem. When you have a disability and you are with somebody else, the people tend to address the other person as if you are not the one who is the subject. Mwambie, you know, so, can anyone identify with that? It's a very bad thing. In fact, I remember the first time I ever saw it is Dr. Kabwe who told somebody to my face in Addis Ababa way back in 2005. Nizungumzie mimi usiache kuzungumzia huyo. So you, if you are the interpreter, don't also abrogate yourself. Don't appropriate yourself that. How do you call it? Exactly. Yeah. Tell the person, speak to him, he can hear. You know? Yeah. Speak to her, she can hear. Because it's very, you know, it's like we are second class.
Very important. I think I'll just get two people. Okay. This is getting exciting.
It is this issue of terminologies. We need to be very careful how we deal with terminologies. And obviously, it's best when people define themselves. And if they say they want to be called deaf, that is fine. But we have to understand, as was said here, language is evolving. There was a word we used many years ago, handicapped. It's no longer a word that is entertained. Mentally handicapped is now a derogatory term. And as was said here, you know, even the term disability, persons with disability, we use that as kind of a political identity, because there's often very little in common between us. So we use it because we have seen it is operating for us all. And you'll also find there are resistance to it. In Britain, up to today, they have resisted persons with disabilities. They call themselves the disabled people. And they argue, we are disabled by the society. So we are the disabled people. But we have come to use persons with disabilities because it is now the more common word used at the UN level, and that's what we are using. And let us fight over this issue of terminology. In Tanzania, we have a very good case. People who are blind totally refuse to be called kipofu. They are called wasiona. The deaf refuse to be called wasiosikia kwa sababu wasiosikia ni watu watukutu. So they are still called viziwi. They are called viziwi. Chama cha viziwi Tanzania. Unaona? Lakini nyinyi hapa, sisi deaf people hapa, tukiwaita kiziwi is derogatory, isn't it? So we can adopt a terminology that we all agree, and it is good that we define ourselves. That's called hermeneutics in theology. It's best that we define ourselves, and but it's also good to go with the trend internationally. Asanteni.
So I think the very last speaker, the very last can speak. And yes, you utatufungia.
Wow, I'm actually smiling because what Dr. said is just very, very sweet. Let me first start by appreciating, because I really enjoy a lot when I see a person who is not with a disability or impairment in this case, akiwa anaelewa vizuri kuhusu issues za persons with disabilities. Isn't that really great? And especially of someone like Dr. Simon, right? Yeah, we should appreciate him, at least. Okay, well, wait. Sorry. We have to accommodate those with hearing impairment and deaf. So we shake, then drop. So we shake, drop, shake again, drop. Okay. Thank you, Dr. That's one. Two, we are really grateful to being here because of Honorable Dr. Isaac. Thank you for making this possible. And then I'm really loving the kind of discussion we are having. But I would love to comment first on this issue of terminology. Right, just maybe a food for thought. Even away from issues disability, if I were to ask, how many women do we have in the room? Or if you're a woman, lift your hand. All right, now ladies, then lift your hand. In fact, I even have others who prefer being called, especially someone who would also prefer being called a girl of yesterday. You know, meaning that this issue of terminology is not something that we may really finish within a sitting. But then it would be important that we appreciate how an individual prefer being called, like the way my friend Georgina says that she prefers being called deaf. But then as we do that, we also be keen so that when we are publishing or producing any document, then we be cognizant of the terms, the terminologies that are already used in the internationally accepted documents, say like with the WHO, with the UN and all that. So that it becomes possible that will be inclusive enough so that when we talk of persons with visual impairment, then it is not only the blind, but even those with low vision, even those with dyslexia and such. Then lastly, so that I don't, the mic is not grabbed from me, I love to really appreciate one commitment that Honorable Dr. Isaac has put, especially on having the issue of inclusive communication and disability mainstreaming being put as part of targets in the performance contract. this would really go a long way to make sure that as many institutions as possible are practicing the right standards. But then I would wish that, I would also recommend that we kindly, you kindly consider including the web accessibility guidelines too as a standard, because each institution, for myself, I come from Kenya Institute Special Education. I am Zachary Nyange Mwasia, and my institution, for example, being a government institution, updates their website regularly. You would find that maybe there's a content that has been uploaded today, there's another one to be uploaded next week and all that. So it means all through something is happening on the site. If there could also be a standard as a target in the PC about the web accessibility guidelines. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. And because of that,
we said we shake.
We shake.
Then we.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. I know food security. I'm actually being food security, purely on food security considerations. 30 seconds only. Food security. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to maliza story, because now food security is becoming chronic.
Thank you, Simon, for your presentation. And mine is more of a comment. It's not a question. When you're addressing inclusive communication, it's my hope and my matarajio yangu kwamba we will put a very good guideline and a good communique in a way that everyone does not portray persons with disability when they do something as extraordinary. Like, let's say, for example, I am a mother. Someone sees that I'm a mother. I have a child. I am with my daughter. And maybe I have been appointed for a senior position. The headline will be, mwanamke mlemavu anapata kuteuliwa. Like, they make it to be like an extraordinary thing. And it's just like any other person. This is on merit. This is on like any other person, the way I can get that work. Yes.
Thank you very much. Very important. Representation, media representation, very important, that media should not be used to bring nuances or undertones of that discriminate or stigmatize persons with disabilities. Of course, issues like ableism are also very, very serious in this space. Ableism, very, very serious. So how we frame messages, how we frame it is very important. So anyone who is communicating anything, please understand that you have power as a framer of message and as a person who is representing persons with disabilities. Media representation and framing is very sensitive as an area. It can perpetuate some of those issues like ableism, like she's talking about. So allow me, with profound humility, to return the mantle to someone, or for direction on food security, or if there is, or there isn't.
Thank you very much. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. What an engaging session. Let me confess, it's very eye-opening for a person like me this is my first time. And I feel empowered, honestly speaking. Well, with that said, I would like to invite us for lunch. But just before that, allow me to invite Victor from Conrad to give us a few housekeeping rules. And then I'll give you the directions after that, kindly. A round of applause for him, please.
Yeah, this is very exhilarating. One of those people who is being empowered today. And I'm very appreciative of the fact that we're doing with this together with Office of the Government Spokesperson. So my announcement is actually with regards to social media. Please, if you are able to, tag us, please. I don't know what you do on X. It's formerly Twitter. Yeah, you repost, you retweet, you tag. For those who can't see, that is at CAS_Kenya. Our Facebook address is Conrad/Adenauer, Adenauer Stiftung, Kenya. Stiftung is Stiftung, Kenya. Kenya, not Y, Kenya with an I. Yeah, so Kenia. Yeah, then there are others that our fellows can help us see or read. I bet for the OGS, they can also share their addresses, social media addresses. Lunch is at the same place. I just wanted to announce that this is very good information for those who do not work for OGS, that we have some transport for you, and especially if you're coming from far. If you are just coming 2 kilometers, from 2 kilometers away, it will be very difficult. So you go up. As you finish your lunch, I will be here with my team, trying to see if you are registered in the morning and you're also registered on the transport contribution form. And then we will bless you with something to go home with. Yeah, so ensure you are registered. There are already 3 forms that are going around, one for OGS, one for the hotel, and one for Conrad. It's not Conrad because Conrad is a human being. It's Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. If it is too difficult, just say CAS. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. A round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Victor. Oh, he taught us that we are shaking and dropping. Can we try that again? Once, let's go. We shake and then we drop. One more time. We shake and then. Thank you very much. So, sorry. I'm being told that I have to be in front. So I want to be English this time. My partner tells me we are supposed to be back after lunch at 2. We know that the time is supposed to be 2:10. So will you allow me to say 2:10 and then you will be responsible and be back by 2:10, please? I am requesting. I don't want us to be Africans in this one because if I say 2, we'll be come back at 2:30. So we agree at 2:10. Are we together? Thank you very much. Let me invite Rosasi to pray for food and then we break. Rosasi, please.
Thank you so much. In the spirit of inclusion, I have so many of my friends here today, so I'll just ask Catherine to pray on my behalf.
Let's believe and pray. Lord, we come before you this afternoon. We ask you as we're going to take our food, that you bless it and you sanctify it in the name. In Jesus' name we do pray and believe.